I wanted to talk to you about a few grant terms you should know and may read as you're looking for grants. Different granting agencies use different terms which may mean similar things. Keep these in mind as you are investigating grants. Grantor. This is the entity providing the grant. Grantee. This is the term used to refer to the person or school who is awarded the grant. LEA, or Local Educational Agency. This is the district or agency that will receive and administrate the grant. You know, spend the money. Some grants require public schools to reach out to private schools and other educational groups in the area, but the public school will still likely be the LEA of the record. RFP, or Call for Submissions. RFP stands for Request for Proposals, and it is sometimes also referred to as a call for submissions. This will be the document that is publicized that lists all the requirements for the grant. It is very important to read it carefully and follow the directions completely. The document will be your best information about what the grantors want to know and what they do not want to know. Deadline. I'm sure you know what a deadline is, but in grant writing, deadlines are firm. Many granting agencies use the deadline to reduce the number of grants they have to read. The deadline will be published in the request for proposals, and it will clearly state how you need to submit your proposal and when it needs to be postmarked, emailed, or submitted to an online system by a certain date and time. Timeline. The timeline is a document where the grantee outlines how the grant activities will progress. It's a good idea to be specific and clear about when activities will occur and how the money will be spent. Budget. The budget is the document that explains how money will be spent. It's important that the budget is as specific as possible and includes hidden costs like shipping and handling. Additionally, the budget should use actual numbers whenever possible. Rounded or estimated values do not show readiness to grantors. Cost sharing, match, or in-kind donation. These terms are actually all related. They refer to money required from a school district to get the grant. For example, some grants require a certain percentage of cost sharing. If you get a $5,000 grant, the school has to commit $500. These are sometimes also called matching funds. An in-kind donation is often what a school offers that does not have a tangible cost. For example, your time. You can show how many hours a week you will spend on the grant and offer to donate it to the grant effort. Some schools allow grants with this requirement and others do not. Check with your administration to see what rules apply in your district relating to accepting grants with matching requirements. Formative evaluation. This is an ongoing evaluation and data collected during the grant period. This can be observation, notes, or things like student artifacts. Summative evaluation. This is an evaluation that occurs at the end of the grant to show learning outcomes. This can be something like a pre-post test that may show how students learned during the grant period. It could also be a survey or a summary of all events that occurred during the grant period. These following terms are terms that you may see if you're applying for a larger grant or a grant from a large agency. Project director. If a grant involves more than one classroom or school, they may ask for a project director to be named. This will be the person with whom the grantor will correspond and ask for reports and updates during the grant period. Advisory board. On larger grants, grantors may ask for an advisory board to be set up with experts from your area and administrators from your district to oversee the grant and provide feedback and input as your grant progresses. Direct costs. This refers to the cost of actually doing the grant, for example, supplies and salaries. Indirect costs. This is often seen in large grants, especially at universities. Universities negotiate indirect rates with granting agencies that account for office space, having the lights on, IT support, and other infrastructure supports to the grant. For example, some grants are limited to 20% indirect costs, but others pay over 50% of funds received before any actual resources are requested. If you work with universities on a grant, you will hear about this for sure. Letter of intent. Some agencies that expect a lot of submissions may require a letter of intent where the applicant explains the basics of their grant and communicates that they intend to apply. It helps granting agencies to manage their workforce and also provide early feedback if a grant application is inappropriate. Some letters of intent are required, and if the deadline is missed, you cannot apply. Program officer. For larger grant agencies like the Department of Education or the National Science Foundation, this is the person in charge of that particular grant. They are available to answer questions and often welcome possible applicants to reach out to them and ask if an idea matches with the goals of the grant. This is not an exhaustive list of grant terms, but these are some of the most common terms you will see. As you're reading about grants, if you come across a word that's unfamiliar to you, share it in the discussion forum so that everyone can learn with you.